Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson, channeling the man in the moon. Today, I'm going to go a little bit further. I have had some contact with some energies a bit more distant than the moon, although I really do believe man in the moon is just a reflection of those energies. This particular energy is a bit further out. I've achieved it through an amethyst stone with a little help from Edie and the V group. The question that I'm going to ask today is how we can live, how we can balance in this time when the new earth is evolving and the old earth is dying. I speak for the one. You may call me a messenger or Mina. That is a name I sometimes used while living on Earth. Dave has asked the question, how do we live at this time? And we recognize that yours is a time of great change and flux. You have all of our sympathy. Understand that there is a contract which we all agreed to that said that you would come to the earth at this time to experience the world. Do not underestimate the value of this experience. You are as volunteers, much as Dave was a volunteer in the Peace Corps to some degree. You have agreed that this time and this place is the one for you in which you would learn the most and bring the most back to source. Do not forget this. It is important. You bring energy back to source. Every emotion that you feel every day of your life will be retained in your energy as your energy returns back to source. Do not judge too often your experience. It is, again, an experience that you have planned to experience. This does not justify the behaviors of anyone. We are all responsible for our choices. However, if you can take some distance from this experience, if you can see it from outside as opposed to within, you will find that there is a great deal of value to what you are learning now. Again, remember, this is a difficult time for many. However, there have been other difficult times. If it is helpful, you can think of other times and see how difficult their life was and compare it to your own. And then you will realize that you can understand just as well as they came to understand their lives. There are some who have been through the most horrific experiences in life. However, they are still able to see the good in the world. They are still able to value their own experiences and see them as just that, just experiences. We do very much appreciate your volunteering to go to Earth at this time, which is why we have made our powers known to you. And this is a reason that many of you are finding spirituality now, because it was supposed to be this way. For you to achieve the shift to the new Earth, it is first necessary to stand outside of yourself for some time. If you do this and see yourself in this place, in this time, it will help you to gain an understanding and perspective on what is happening around you. If you can see it more as a sort of game or a vacation or a set of experiences rather than a deterministic, hmm, we search for words, deterministic view, if you will. If you can see it from outside as opposed to being enmeshed on the inside of things, then it will greatly help you. This is why things like meditation are so valuable. It is difficult to get outside of your culture. It is difficult to go outside of the hubbub that surrounds you, especially now, and that there is so much technology which is always connecting you to it. Even if you go to a forest, you can choose still to be disconnected from the forest. So it is very helpful to choose times when you are not connected. And in those times when you are not connected to technology, connect instead to the earth, connect to spirit. This will help you to understand the perspective. It will also be helpful if you do not take things too personally. We understand that this is extremely difficult for the human, but it is very, very helpful. Things which happen to you and others are not some form of punishment. They are only there to teach you. You may learn the experience of being an unpleasant person. That is valuable for the universe to know. You may have the experience of being a person who evolves at this time. That is useful for the universe to know. Everything that happens is in some way connected and useful for the universe to know. So connect. Connect in those times when you can, when you are away from the distractions and the technology. Your human emotions often draw a sort of shroud over you so that you can't connect. Sometimes the human mind does the same thing. It thinks, it rationalizes, it understands what the experience is around them in a particular way, in a way that is chosen to be experienced by the physical senses. But that is not the only way, nor is it the way that is most deeply connected to your reality. The true reality is the one that you hear when there is no sound. If you merely go to the self, if you go to the silent self, you will find there the perfect connection to the universe. You may not understand this well in the beginning, but through practice, you will understand and be able to utilize the messages that you get from the universe. These messages can be used to solve virtually every problem imaginable. So, you have a problem with your spouse. Go to the silent time and see the world from the spouse's perspective. This does not mean the spouse is right and you are wrong. It merely means that you are two humans with a different view of the world at a particular time. At another time, you may have the same view of the world. But in the time of the crisis, merely go and see them. Try to put your human emotions and brain aside and experience the world from their perspective. This does not mean you abandon your own. This means you come back to that perspective and negotiate. Understanding the other will help you to understand yourself. Then ask the question, why is this happening to me at this time? What am I here to learn? There is no firm question, there is no firm answer. If you say, what am I here to learn? The answers may vary. It may be that a course of action is completely different from one person to the next because you are all individuals. All of you have different energy. All of you are here to learn something different. This is the beauty that you can find in humanity. Once you have understood the other's perspective, even those perspectives of those you are politically disenchanted with, you will be better able to solve the problems. A problem may be solved merely from disconnecting from those who are not helpful in their energies. A problem may also be solved if you understand the other's perspective and treat them well without abandoning your own. Treat them well. Treat them as you would wish yourself to be treated. See their humanity. No human is perfect. When people do things that are wrong and unpleasant, there is a reason why. This reason may or may not have anything to do with you. It may have preceded you by many, many years. So we ask that you be generous in those situations where a relationship is of value and can be salvageable, in a relationship where something can be learned, choose not to harm the other. Choose to understand them and see them. Even if you do not reach some kind of conclusion with them, you will have learned a good deal about your spouse. And it is completely fair to say that you can learn what is needed and then separate, walk away, because that is the best course of action for you. Of course, if you can reconnect with that spouse, then it is a good idea to do so. You will have maintained an important relationship and you will have learned a good deal. It is very important not to take these experiences too personally. Sometimes things happen for you to know about them. It is often the case that you will see the things that happen from a variety of perspectives. The same problem might have a different outcome. The same problem may be looked at from the other angle. One day you might be the selfish one, and it is important for you to look at the selfishness on a topic. On another day, another person will be behaving in a selfish way, and on that day, it will be important to understand why they are selfish. There are different conclusions, different outcomes, because each of you is an individual. There is no one perfect way. If it were thus, it would be too easy for human beings. Your lives would not be interesting. If you wish to think of the politicians and ask, why does this politician exist? Why am I living at this time with such a terrible leader? Then merely reflect on this. Think, what am I doing here? What am I learning? And understand that if you are learning, even if it is painful, it is a valuable experience. This does not mean you should choose pain. It means that pain is part of the human experience. And if you understand that pain, you can move beyond it. We do not judge anyone. These practices will not be easy for anyone. They are the apogee of human understanding, and it will take some time for humans to achieve this. Though some will get there more quickly than others, it does not really matter. All of you will achieve one consciousness. You will all return to Source with your experiences, good and bad. You will all return to Source, having reflected upon your life and seeing what is useful, what is worthwhile, and what needs to be discarded. Everyone is part of the one. Everyone is of value. And this is our final message about this topic. It is very useful to see that everyone is valuable. Perhaps they are your enemy. What then is your enemy there to teach you? Perhaps before you were born, you and your enemy made a plan to teach each other. The teaching may involve a good many emotions. This is natural for humans. However, it is not necessarily useful to condemn the other. See them as the valuable resource for self understanding that they are, and understand that they also come to Source, and they will return to Source. This is our final transmission for today. All right. Well, that was interesting. Just a note for viewers, people learning to channel, you really can feel a difference between this kind of channeling and the channeling that I usually do. It just feels different. So as you learn how to do this work, notice the changing feelings. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Check out my website if you like. Bye bye.